Good afternoon, people in East Africa and anyone else elsewhere. Good morning or good evening, wherever you are. This is Dr. Job Mogire from the House of Mastery. Today, we continue the conversation we started this week, speaking about clarity. Yesterday, we spoke about the domains of clarity. We started the first day looking at essentially at the power of clarity. So today, we continue that conversation. And oh, this is going to be one of the best weeks. This is going to be one of those amazing weeks. Finding clarity. So today we will speak about, I titled it as the wheels of clarity. The wheels of clarity. Clarity is perhaps the single most important attribute of your daily routine. When you start operating daily with the clarity of the direction you are going in, clarity of how you're performing, clarity of the areas you need to improve, your life has to change, which is why I think clarity needs wheels. It needs wheels because you will need clarity every single day. Before we look at what I think are the wheels of clarity, here are three attributes that your goals should have. The three attributes your goals should have for them to fit into and facilitate the effectiveness of whatever wheels you decide to use to pursue your clarity and to accelerate your achievement of your goals. So the three attributes of your goals, the three attributes you should weigh your goals around are: number one, are my goals aspirational? Are my goals aspirational? And it sounds ordinary, but it is not. Because the word aspire, I think I've never had anybody define it better than Jim Rohn did. That the word aspire means to desire to be better than mediocre, to desire to be better than average, to desire to be better than ordinary. And that is to desire to be better than mediocrity, regardless of what circumstances life gives you, regardless of what environment you grow up in. And I believe this is where you and I begin to distinguish our lives from an animal's life or a plant's life or a fish's life. We can choose to move from an environment that is not helping us be the very best that we can be. A fish cannot do that. An animal that is born in East Africa, maybe it's a wild beast, the best it can is migrate to and fro as the seasons change, but otherwise it won't move to another country. It doesn't even have a profession. So aspire for you is the challenge you give yourself to desire, and of course, implement that desire for you to become better. Become better by setting higher goals, becoming better by setting for yourself higher standards, becoming better by consciously making the best use of whatever resources you have access to, whether it's your time, whether it's your energy, your attention, your money, the network, the people you have around you, the financial, economic, educational opportunities, wherever you are, desiring to be better than mediocre, better than average, better than ordinary. Because it has to be an aspiration. It has to be. I think of the word aspiration the way we apply it in the hospital. When a patient aspirates, oh, everything else no longer matters until we sort out what has happened. Because in the hospital, aspiration means content comes from the stomach and goes into the lungs. That patient will cough. The patient's status, their heart rate will go up, their breathing will change, everything will change. When you have a truly aspirational goal, when you aspire, when you truly have an aspirational goal, it comes in and it changes something. It changes the standards you allow yourself to operate by. It changes your routines. It changes your level of focus. It changes the energy with which you show up every day. Are your goals aspirational? Among the goals you have, which are the most meaningful that are also aspirational? Because an aspirational goal comes within it with a seed that will germinate and create a difference almost immediately. As soon as you start pursuing an aspirational goal, you have to live at a higher level. You have to operate more efficiently. You have to be more effective. You have to be deeper in your thinking. You have to be more realistic, more strategic in your decisions, more decisive in your actions. Are your goals aspirational? The second attribute that your goals need to have for them to be impactful in terms of making your use of the daily wheels of clarity more effective is that your goals need to be inspirational. Inspirational. And I know those two words, aspirational and inspirational, can sound almost the same thing, the same. When you aspire, you are looking at an external standard. There's an external standard, there's an external reach physically. If you think about aspiration in the hospital where you are the lungs, and something comes from another organ and pours into the lungs. So you are aspiring because you are receiving something external, but inspirational, it is inside. In fact, if you look at the origin of the word inspire, spire is spirit. Fire is spirit. So it's like inspiration is that fire that gets lit inside you. The fire that gets lit inside you, the fire that will scorch everything where you go. Think of an army that is implementing the scorched earth policy, where they are fighting in some foreign country, and they are moving from the coastline to the hinterland, and they are burning everything along their way. Why? Because they have fire within them. You become inspired when there is a fire that is lit within you. And it's important to make this a specific attribute that you use to measure your goals, because it it forces you to think about what kind of goals will inspire me. What will inspire me? In other words, what goals will pull out of me the very best of myself, the very highest of myself, the very purest of my motives? Goals that are based on comparison, goals that are based on competition, goals that are based on jealousy never inspire you long term. Only goals that are truly founded on the authentic, true motive of making a difference that matters. Not just making a difference that is out of just your mere desire to be recognized or to be seen or to be popular. Inspirational goals require that you reach inside and you tap out of yourself the very, very best that you can be, the very best that you can offer, the very best in terms of truly, authentically committed to making a difference that makes a difference, making a difference that will outlast you. Sometimes making a difference from which you don't even really get anything back. But that once that is done, it shows the kind of fire that is burning within you. It has to be a certain kind of force that gets some of the people, for example, like Martin Luther King Jr., to walk the journey he walks, knowing that he's going to die. There are even less recognized heroes across the world, whistleblowers. A whistleblower who is working with the government that he knows this government will kill me, but this person goes ahead and whistleblows on something that he has seen. There has to be something deeper than just a salary, than just a position, than just an office. And the third attribute of goals, of your goals that will take you forward is, are your goals motivational? Are your goals motivational? So motivational goals the attribute of the motivational goals. Goals motivate you when you can see how that goal applies to right now. Motivation is the rotating of wheels moment to moment. You can have a highly aspirational goal. Oh, this goal will force me to become disciplined, to become consistent, to become more courageous. It will help me to reach out higher, to be better than mediocre. That goal can also be inspirational. This goal is going to push me to get the very best out of myself. But if all both of these attributes are way out there, you do not see them right here, you do not see the meaning right now, you are going to disconnect. Where you have this beautiful goal written down, but you don't see how that goal applies to today, how it applies moment to moment. Because that is the trick about motivation. People go for a motivational session, they get fired up, they come home that evening, they set goals. The following day, they wake up early, then they wake up early for 2-3 days, and then motivation goes away. Motivation is not an event, it is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that is powered by inspirational and aspirational goals that have been broken down until you can see how they apply to right now. What How does what I'm doing now motivate me to keep going? Because I see how this tiny goal is connected to my highest aspirations, and that aspiration is connected to how I find the deepest inspiration out of myself to keep going even when I don't feel like going, to wake up early, even when my body aches and is tired, even after I have not even slept enough that night, but because I have an aspiration going to be better than a mediocre. I have an inspiration. I want to tap the real, refined, highest version of myself and start making it real. And I have motivation. I have a reason to wake up today. Because if I don't wake up today, tomorrow will suffer because it will start off from zero when I should already have laid down 2 or 3 or 4 ingredients that will make tomorrow easier, tomorrow more productive, tomorrow better, tomorrow more impactful. I believe these are three, and I hope you see those distinctions between aspirational, inspirational, and motivational. These are three attributes that if your goals, if you have, even if it's just two goals, two long-term goals, maybe it's just one goal, one long-term goal that is truly aspirational, truly inspirational, and you've been able to see how it applies every day, making it motivational, you will find the energy to start, you will find the gusto to keep going and to stick to the journey no matter what happens to you. And so I would like to encourage you very strongly, take your goals and weigh them on this standard. Is this goal aspirational? Is this goal inspirational? Is this goal motivational? And that's where we begin to attach meaning to a goal so that it goes beyond me accumulating X amount of money to what is the meaning? Is it, for example, I want to accumulate a certain amount of money and I do not know why. That means day to day, I have the goal, but I'm not getting as much power out of myself. I'm not getting as much leverage to automatically think about ways of making this happen. And that's why we do this. And so now let's look at the wheels of clarity. What are the wheels of clarity? The first one is emotions, and that's probably one of the most powerful ones. And emotions, and the question that we need to ask each other or ourselves is, what emotion, what emotion do I want to experience? What emotion or emotions do I want to experience? Because at the end of the day, we are all after a certain type of emotion. Maybe you want to feel free. Maybe you want to feel empowered. Maybe you want to feel effective. When you think about your goal fulfilled, there is an emotion that comes into you. And the beauty about an emotion that you would like to experience is that you don't have to wait to experience it. You can start experiencing it today. If you want to feel empowered, if you want to feel free, if you want to feel passionate, if you want to feel uh, effective and impactful, you can start feeling that emotion today. You can start practicing that emotion today so that that emotion becomes a wheel that makes your journey towards your goal easier. The clearer your goals are, the easier it will be for you to start acting on them. Once you start acting on them, you anticipate that there are going to be obstacles because your transformation, your growth is contingent upon the obstacles you face and overcome. What emotions do you want to experience in the pursuit of your journey? Because if you want to experience the emotion of victory and you wait to experience it only when you are standing on the podium, you are going to sacrifice the entire journey just for a few minutes of glory. I have given the example of football leagues, not just because I love football. I'm not even such a big fan of football, but I love football to an extent. Can you imagine if every team in that league does not celebrate until they win, until they receive the trophy? That means out of 30 teams, only one team is going to celebrate. And only one team is going to celebrate for just 20, 30 minutes, or maybe 24 hours. It doesn't matter. But they have been playing for 6 months. The emotion you want to experience, you don't have to wait to experience it at the end. You can train yourself to start experiencing it today. If you want to experience passion, to experience fulfillment, you can start practicing that emotion today so that in your pursuit of the eventual goal, in your implementation of the ingredients of each of the steps of this goal, you start training yourself to experience that emotion now, to experience the emotion today, so that the greater the impact you have, the greater effectiveness you have, the greater proficiency you learn in the pursuit of the goal, in implementing the actions you need to make this goal a reality, the more permanent that emotion becomes. So that eventually these goals change your life because they have changed the quality of your emotions. Excellence is an emotion. Speed is an emotion. Consistency is an emotion. Self-discipline is an emotion where something needs to be done. How you feel right now is superseded by how you feel inside, the more powerful emotion inside that drives you to act no matter what you feel like. Each of these attributes that we want to accomplish, I gave you the exercise of creating a core values yesterday from an acronym. Those are emotional words. Each of those words is attached to an emotion. For example, I saw some of you put down words like adaptable. Adaptability has an emotion attached to it. And the more I practice the emotion of adaptability, the easier it becomes for me to truly be adaptable in the moment. Resourcefulness is an emotion. There is an emotion attached to resourcefulness. That means even in the midst of chaos, you are the one person who is going to be asking yourself, how can we solve this? What do we need to solve this? Who can help us solve this? So that instead of slumping down with everybody and complaining about what's going on, you are becoming resourceful. You are looking for ways. So the first wheel is emotion. And I've spent a little longer time on this one because it is something that we can make practical. Because we we operate by emotions. Every single day is colored by emotions. Emotions are like seasons. They will come, they will go. They will be high, they will be low. They'll be bright, they'll be dark. They'll be pleasant, they'll be unpleasant. But it doesn't have to be the end of the story. You can take the story a little further, that regardless of whether they are dark or they are bright, I have an emotion that is slightly above this. It's like having your own air conditioner in your house. It doesn't matter what's happening outside. If it's too hot outside, you set a lower temperature in the house. If it's too cold, you keep your house warm. So by deciding what emotion you want to practice and manifest every day to help you be more effective, be more consistent, you are essentially setting your own weather, determining your own inner climate. The second wheel of clarity is priorities. Priorities. What are your top 3 priorities today? Can you write them down? Write down what are your top 3 priorities today? If this day was to be truly successful and you have achieved 3 priorities, you've moved closer or achieved or actualized 3 priorities that help you move forward in the direction of your long-term goals. What are those priorities? And the reason to write it down is that it helps you realize to what extent you are truly clear about the direction you are going right now. What are your top priorities? The next question is, what goals are those priorities serving? Are those priorities serving urgent, important but urgent matters which don't contribute to your long-term vision? Or are they feeding into your important and non-urgent but important matters which will contribute to your long-term vision? The other question to ask yourself is, the priorities you have, are they aligned with your personal vision? Are they aligned with your vision, or are they driven by the opportunities around you, by the environment in which you are, by the people you are surrounded by the deadlines that are controlled by someone else? Are those priorities that you control, or are they priorities that are controlled by somebody else? Do you have total control over the outcomes that will result from your top priorities today? The more clear you are about your priorities, the more effective you will be in applying, especially your time, and of course, your energy and your focus, your attention. Remember what we said, and this is a definition from John C. Maxwell, that priorities are pre-decisions about time. In other words, you have already decided how time will be utilized. You have already decided what you will do with the time, that specific slot of time, or most of your day, or most of your weekend, most of your afternoon, most of your morning. Priorities are pre-decisions about time. The danger is if you have pre-decisions that are not deliberate, they are not personal, they are not meaningful in terms of moving you towards the goals you want to accomplish eventually. Priorities are pre-decisions about time. What have you pre-decided? Is it your own pre-decision, or is it somebody else's pre-decision? Are these visionary pre-decision, or are they opportunistic pre-decisions? And how can you start moving towards having and working on and focusing on priorities that are driven primarily by your vision rather than by your opportunities, by your needs, true, authentic, long-term needs, rather than by external pressures and deadlines? The third wheel of clarity is process. The third wheel of clarity is process. Process is the commitment to patience until your goals are manifested. Your commitment to patience. In other words, you are committed to stick with it no matter what happens. You are committed to stick with it no matter how long it takes. You are committed to stick with it no matter how hard it becomes. You are committed to stick with it until you grow enough, until you learn enough, until you fulfill it enough. You have heard people say, trust the process. Trust the process. It's very difficult to trust the process when you don't have clear goals. It's very difficult to trust the process when you don't have clear endpoint in terms of how today will contribute to tomorrow and tomorrow will build onto the next day thereafter. And that's why you need to filter your goals and make sure that they are aspirational, they are inspirational, and they are motivational. That's why you need to be clear about what kind of emotion you want to live with every day, because then you can commit with the process. The word until becomes practical. Until. How long are you going to keep working at it? Until you learn it, until you achieve it, until you manifest it, until you overcome the inner resistance, until you become more self-disciplined. Because sometimes the goals can change, right? The goals can change. Your vision is the same, but the goal can change. Instead, for example, maybe you went in just to learn level 1 of Spanish. You get in there and you're like, no, I want to get to level 2, right? Sometimes the goals can change, but that should be the exception rather than the routine. Where if you're changing the goals, either you're making it more specific or you're making it bigger because you are learning as you go along. The commitment to the process is the commitment to apply your time, your energy, and your resources no matter what happens. And this is where I love to use the word anyway. It is difficult, pursue it anyway. It's taking long, persist anyway. It is harder than you expected, continue anyway. It is requiring a lot more money than you have, continue holding the vision anyway. You commit to the process and then you trust the process. Because most people try to do it the reverse way. They want to trust a process that they have not committed to. Because trusting a process is getting into a pipeline. If you have a pipeline between two major cities that is used to pump oil, you commit the process by getting into the pipeline in one city and staying in that pipeline until you get to the city you want to get to. So you must first commit to the process and get into the process, and then trust the process. And you commit the process by clarifying that the goals I'm pursuing are aspirational, they are inspirational, they are motivational, they are long-term. That I am willing to commit to these goals. I don't know whether I will accomplish them within the time I want to. I don't know how long it will take. I don't know how hard it will be, but I am willing to commit to the process. And then once you get started, then now you can trust the process. It would be weird for somebody to say, I am trusting this man or this lady, right, to keep our marriage or our relationship or our partnership intact when you have not committed to that person. Because the commitment is the initial decision. The trusting is the daily managing of that decision. So that day when you wake up feeling like, my goodness, I am so over it, I am tired, you remember that you committed. Because you committed, because you weighed and committed to this aspirational, inspirational, and motivational goal, now it's time to make the motivational component practical today by trusting the process in the midst of obstacles, trusting the process in the midst of doubt, trusting the process when you remain alone in the pursuit of this goal. So process is the third wheel of clarity. Because some things don't become clear until you have committed to the process and started doing it, and then you realize how it works. You realize, oh, I didn't anticipate this. You realize, oh, I need to learn this too. Or you realize, oh, I will require these other resources which I did not anticipate I was going to require. Once you trust the process, once you get into the pipeline that is pumping oil from one city to another, that's when you get in and you're like, oh, I didn't know that this pipe goes up and down. I didn't know that this pipe passes under such a cold and deep mountain. Because now you have committed to the process, you are in the process. Process becomes a wheel that helps you to keep moving forward. Look at your goals. Which of these goals are you truly, authentically, 100% resolutely and absolutely willing to be committed to get onto as part of the process and stick with it for the next 5 years, no matter what happens? Which of these goals, for everyone on this call, if you commit to one specific goal that is aspirational, inspirational, and motivational, and you determine what emotion you will experience every day, you will put yourself in that emotion every day. You trust the process because you have decided to commit to this goal. If you have a goal that you pursue every day for 4 years, 5 years, daily, spending an hour to 2 hours every day, it will transform your life almost by 100%, almost 360 degrees. It will, because it will change how you think about time, how you think about energy, how you think about your focus, most importantly, how you think about yourself, your future, your opportunities, your impact, your ability to get out of yourself the most productivity that you can. If you have a truly aspirational goal and you commit to it, and then you trust the process daily for the next 5 years, even, even just wait 1 year. If you have done it daily for 1 year, oh, it will totally transform your life. This is something I have tested, and I'm not on this call today making this presentation by accident. This is me actually making practical in my life my aspirational, inspirational, and motivational overarching goal by putting in the work every single day. The fourth pillar of clarity is problem solving. The fourth pillar of clarity is problem solving. When you commit to problem solving, in fact, you become disappointed if you're not finding problems to solve. And that sets you apart from anybody else in your circle, because most people become discouraged when they meet problems. Most people become discouraged when they meet obstacles. Most people lose their motivation, which they need for everyday implementation of their goals, just because they have met with obstruction or distractions or obstacles. When you embrace the mindset of problem solving, when you make problem solving a wheel on which you rotate from day to day, you roll from day to day, from month to month. When you truly embrace the identity of I am a problem solver, then everything becomes an opportunity for you. Everything becomes an opportunity. But because you are committed to solving problems, when the obstacles show up in the areas of your goals, you don't run away from your goals just to easier opportunities, because that's what most of the time we do. We embrace opportunities, we become excited about opportunities, but in truth, we are becoming excited about another opportunity because it seems easier than the goal we were pursuing. That opportunity seems like it doesn't have the obstacles that our goal presents to us. Yet, it doesn't matter how grand the opportunity is. It is going to present its own type of obstacles. At the end of the day, you still have to practice the skill and attitude and mentality of solving problems. Which is why once you are powered by your vision, you have aspirational, inspirational, and motivational goals. You have decided what emotion you will experience. You have committed to the process. You have committed that this is the process, and you have embraced the identity of being a problem solver. You've made problem solving one of the wheels with which you move from moment to moment. you are ready for whatever comes. You automatically develop the attitude of persistence. It becomes easy for you to stick with what you need to do. It becomes easy for you to be consistent because the consistency is usually hampered by distractions or by loss of motivation or by loss of focus. When you have a problem solving mindset, whatever obstructions come your way, whatever distractions come your way, you are ready to deal with them. You are ready to solve whatever problem comes your way, which means you are ready to face and overcome and squeeze the juice out of the obstructions that come your way, whether they are small or big. Problem solving in that way becomes a wheel with which you move from day to day. It's a wheel of clarity. Problem solving helps you remove the chaff. You are mining gold. It helps you squeeze out the clay. You are mining wheat. It helps you squeeze out and filter and sieve out the chaff. You are a fisherman. It helps you. It's, can you imagine if fishermen did not go to the ocean to fish unless they are assured they are only going to catch fish? What would happen to fishermen? They would never go to the ocean to fish because every time you fish, every time you throw your net in, it's going to catch fish, but it's also going to catch other things. You're going to see octopuses in there. If you're looking for an octopus, that's fantastic. You're going to see crabs in there. You're going to see other creatures in the water that you did not want. But as a problem solver, you do not hold back from fishing just because there are crabs in the sea. You go fishing because there are fish in the sea, and you will remove the problem of crabs if you don't want them and octopuses, and just go for the specific type of fish that you are looking for. Can you imagine how foolish it would be of farmers not to farm because all wheat grows with chaff? I want to plant wheat only if it just grows with the grains and it doesn't have any chaff. That is the challenge we have to face every day, knowing that every day we show up, the fish we are fishing for will come with some crabs, with some octopuses, with some shells, and we have to remove them. The wheat we are farming will come with chaff. What the water we are fetching will come with impurities, and we have to filter it so that the impurities, the chaff, and the crabs, they don't hold us back from fishing where we need to fish. And the more we become comfortable with solving problems as they arise day in, day out, the more clarity we have. We gain not only clarity, but we also gain the courage that enables us to trust the clarity we are getting more and more. The fifth wheel of clarity is values. Values. I believe that values are the fuel for daily living. Values are the fuel for daily living. Here is a quick exercise. I want you to look at the values that you wrote yesterday, hoping that everyone was able to do that exercise. Look at the personal core values you wrote yesterday, okay? I want you to check the first one. Check the first core value. Now I want you to sit wherever you are. Sit right now and please do this exercise. I can't see all of you, but I'm seeing you. Do this exercise. So let me give you, if you don't have your own, let me give you one from my end. Expectant in terms of positively expecting things to happen, right? Change how you're seated and even how you're breathing to manifest like you are expectant. Expectant, or whichever, if you chose a different one, that's fine. Expectant. If you are expectant, would you end up manifesting differently? Let's try another one. I hope you're doing it. Let's try another one. Industrious. Industrious. In fact, write down the word industrious as though you are industrious. I wish I could see all of you. Then I would know that this is working, because I do this kind of work face to face, where I'm able to see people and we can interact. Values are the fuel that drives your behavior in the moment every day. Unfortunately, sometimes we practice very useless values like lazy, like bored. Bored is a core value. When you are bored, you have to be in a certain state. You can't be running, you're running and you're popping up or you're doing push-ups and you're like, man, I'm so bored, right? You have to be lying back, lazing, your legs either crossed or folded, and you are shrunk and you're breathing shallow. You have to be in a certain physical state for you to feel a certain way, because emotions are determined by how we move. Emotions result from motion. Values, your core values, they are the fuel. Once the core values are clear, they pour fuel onto your life. You can't be industrious and you're complaining about executing a 20-minute errand. Those two are not compatible. If, for example, your core value is assured, you can't be assured and you can't feel assured and then start doubting yourself when you're given small tasks to perform, or thinking about how you're going to implement certain ingredients of your goals. Maybe you need to make a presentation, you need to network with new people, you need to make some calls. If truly you start embodying the values that you selected yesterday, they will start shaping your behavior. Can you look through your core values? Look through all of them, and I'm hoping that for most of you, the most number you have is 5. My recommendation is to make them 3. 3 to 5, that range is okay. You should be able to remember them. I recommended that you use an acronym to create your core values. The reason to create an acronym is to make it easy for you to remember them. But once you've created it from the acronym, I would recommend select the top 3 that resonate with you the most. So for example, it could be adaptable, resourceful, and industrious, or assured, impeccable, and resourceful. It could be, you have 3. If you have 5, that's fine. If you have more than 5, no. You should be able to manifest them on an ongoing basis. I want us to finalize with the last one. The sixth wheel is philosophy. Philosophy. And I'm going to leave that open to you. And the question under philosophy is, what is my personal philosophy? What is my personal philosophy? And that's going to be philosophy about so many domains. What's my personal, take this 5 prompts. What's my personal philosophy about people? What's my personal philosophy about opportunity? What's my personal philosophy about life? What's my personal philosophy about learning? And what's my personal philosophy about problems or obstacles? People, opportunity, life, learning, and problems. What's your philosophy? Have you ever thought consciously about what your philosophy is? What is it you believe about these things? Or is it what the environment around me presents to me? That would be it for the discussion, the part. And now let's share reflections. I do not know which of these stood out to you, and in which ways you think you would apply this to your life. So let's just have a quick reflection sharing amongst each other, and we will conclude this session about the wheels of clarity. I'm going to call out the people on the call here on Zoom. Let's start off with Ndungi.
A good day to everyone. We today, the wheels of clarity are have been eye-opening, especially the ones that came before, the attributes that any goal should have to realize full achievement. Yeah. The three ones are aspirational, inspirational, and motivational. I tend to resonate more with the inspirational ones because as I was looking at my goals, I think for me, there are only out of 10, there are three that will maybe actually pull the best out of me. I think the rest are aspirational goals. Yeah, and the wheels of clarity. Uh, what stuck out for me today was values, and the last one, philosophy. For me, I think I only want out of the five ones that you've asked. For me, it's my philosophy about problems and obstacles are the ones I gave yesterday. The think different and make it. So if you push your mind differently, I think that's your uniqueness. Yeah. So for me, it's I'm left dealing with these other four ones. So yeah, thanks for the yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dugi. Elena?
Yeah, so today what hit home particularly was the point about problem solving, how it is disappointing when you do not encounter any problems. You become attuned to the problem solving mentality that when you encounter a problem, it becomes an opportunity. And what particularly hit home is that it sets you apart amongst your circles, which I have seen evident in my environment. So it really struck a nerve for me, and I can relate to that.
Thank you, Elena. James?
I cannot state enough the timeliness of this exercise. At some point, I was beginning to wonder. I was beginning to have some concerns about some of my goals, but now I realize that I need to improve on their clarity because most of them have all the three attributes, but some of them lack the aspect of being motivational, and so at times I tend not to follow them up as intended. But today, on learning about on getting to know about values as a wheel of clarity, about how they are fuel that drives our behaviors in the moment every single day. It is so powerful to learn that and to know that I can use them to influence my energy, which will directly affect how I perform certain tasks and even some of my goals. That was so good to learn, and I am glad I attended today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Brainy?
Good afternoon, everyone. So on today is about the wheels of clarity, which is A for aspiration, I for inspiration, M for motivation. I'll just use all of them because for the next 1 year to see which ingredient is going to stand out most. And then on clarity, I think I was having issues with figuring out my goals. And today, when you mention about process, committing to your goal, no matter what comes in your way, you're going to stick onto that. So I think that will help me today. And about the priorities, figuring out what's my top priority on a day so I can see which activity should I put in more energy and which one should I give it less time. And then on philosophy, my philosophy about people is like I treat people how I want to be treated. And then about life, I just impress life, learn to impress life. Like one day I'm gonna be gone, and if today is my final day, what am I doing with my life? And on problems, my philosophy is what I think and feel is what I attract. So I have to be more conscious with my thoughts and my feelings towards that. And then about the core values, I thought of using my new brainy because I felt like a lot of words on there resonated with me. So that's all I wanted to say about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brainy. Judith?
Okay, so my take home today on the wheels of clarity. I think there are some things that I still struggle with, and I hope that today's session will help me address it. So on priorities, I think I still have so much struggles on what I really need to prioritize. I've tried like to remove some things out of my plate, like to create more time for myself. And I can say I'm still somewhere, but I'm not yet there. Like I still need to know like what exactly is important for me and what should I do exactly, which one is not urgent, and where can I get more time to do this that will actually transform my life at some point. And then emotions. I sometimes find myself, maybe I focus too much on what I'm doing that I even forget the emotions that come with it. So I think I just need to be more intentional and like learn to experience the emotions too, and like to train myself to experience the emotions that come with it, because at times, okay, you'll end up being bored, which is not good, but I'll learn to train myself for that. The core values, the acronym I used is REAL, because I want to be real. Like, I don't want to lie to myself. Let me be realistic about what I'm doing. Yeah. So that's all.
Thank you, Judith. I saw your breakdown of real. It was powerful. I'm going to borrow something from there. It's because the word itself is powerful, and then the specific ones you picked. And I saw amazing examples from all of you. Someone had results. I loved it. Thank you for sharing in the group how you're thinking about this. Victor.
Hi all. What really stand in this particular time is the three attributes of goal setting: aspiration, inspiration, and motivation. It has made me think about the top goals that I had. What is aspiration with this goal? What is inspiration with this goal? Motivation with this goal? So as I was thinking, and I realized that I have an urge of solving challenges, and I really feel good when I achieve them. So that is what has been pulling me. I've never known, why do I like doing this? What is pulling me to do this? So I might get a problem and settle with it the whole day just to finish it. And it feels so nice. Sometimes it may look like wasting time, but that feeling really nice. So I'm going to view all my goals and see what really pulls me to do this, because it has to do with something that is in me that I like doing. And it is also connected to the wheels of clarity, emotions. What do I want to experience? Most of the time we seek pleasures that are not productive and many other things. So if that feeling can be put on your goal, you feel nice doing whatever you're doing, then you'll do it every day. I don't think it will ever end, because you're doing something that grows you and you feel nice about it. And yeah, that's it. Others, priorities, process, especially process. Let me say something about process. When you reach a goal, you tend to stop somehow. So I really want to live with the process all throughout. Yes, you have become good, but you keep on doing it. Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you, Victor. 10.
Thank you so much for today's session. I'm still in the journey of self-discovery and development. So from the session today, I discovered that most of my goals
Oh, sorry, 10, did we lose you? Okay, we'll complete that sharing. Hopefully you can even place it in the group. So that will be it, guys, for today. Speaking about the wheels of clarity. Remember, this week, it's all about clarity. We will cross into the next week too. And this is the second month. Today was day 34 of the 90-day breakthrough challenge. Day by day, we are edging closer. And I hope you are making massive progress with the goal that you are pursuing. And I wish you an amazing day. Continue living with passion and make today count better than yesterday counted.